If I were to pick one word that makes any digital marketer angry, want to pull their hair out, and just want to quit, it's the word integration. In today's video, I want to review a tool that promises to fix all the frustrations around the world of integration without costing an arm and a leg. Let's go ahead and dive into the review. Hey guys, John here, and we're going to talk about Integrately. Integrately is a newer tool. It's very similar to Zapier, which we'll talk about in this review, and they have made a very big promise. They're trying to be the easiest way to integrate anything online, and in this video, we're going to put that claim to the test. All right, so here is the Integrately review for 2021. If you guys want to learn ways to save more money on your digital marketing while making more profits more easily, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like this video and share with your friends. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the review here. So what we're going to cover in this video is, first and foremost, like, why do we need integrations? Why is it such an angry word? Like, what's the whole stigma around that concept? And then we'll dive into what Integrately is and how they're trying to fix that problem. I'm also going to give you, just so you can like get your juices flowing a little bit, I'll give you 10 different unique ways I have used Integrately, and just to give you some ideas of the possibilities that you can do with the tool. And then, of course, the 800-pound gorilla in the room is Zapier. They are currently like the monopoly in this space. And I want to compare Integrately to Zapier and be as fair and balanced as possible. And next, we're going to do how to set up. I'll give you a quick tutorial on how to set up your first integration inside of Integrately in just a few seconds. That should be pretty cool. And then I'll kind of give you the pros and cons and my final thoughts towards the end. Deal? So quick disclaimer, I am not being paid by Integrately to make this video. I'm not even really an affiliate. The only thing that's in it for me at this point is they're currently running a special where if you sign up even for their free account, you can get 500 additional tasks or zaps or whatever you want to call them, 500 additional units for launching your automation. So now's a great time to sign up. If you're even curious, if you've tried Zapier before and said, nope, not doing that, then give this thing a try. It might be worth your while. All right, back to the review. So first, let's just talk about why do we even need integrations in the first place? Okay, so your online business is complicated, right? You are doing everything between advertising to find new people on social media, to trying to sell digital products or even physical products, to then managing some customer relationship manager database, some CRM, doing email marketing. The list of tasks you want to do, like actual task things to do, is unlimited in an online business, especially when it's growing. In the beginning, it might not seem like a big deal. You might launch a WordPress blog, start writing some content, and start a Facebook page. And maybe that's all you do for a while. But over time, shiny objects will pop up and there will be a tool that you want to work into your workflow. So some examples of these could be special lead generation tools that might not connect in with your email marketing provider, or giveaway programs or viral sharing, things like that. There's all these cool things coming out. And as marketers, we do need to test the waters of new products and new strategies to see if they're going to work for us. All right. The problem is, though, as each one of these tools gets created, there's now the spider web of how am I going to work with WordPress? How am I going to work with ClickFunnels? How am I going to work with any other tool out there? Even if you choose an all-in-one platform, which helps simplify things a great deal, there's going to be stuff that you want to bring into your business that's unique to you, specific to you. Maybe you want to do a print-on-demand store and send a product over to them when they buy a digital product as well. All these crazy things, they make tons of sense from a marketing perspective, but from a technological perspective, it's literally impossible for every tool to integrate with every other tool out there. So a brand new category of tool has come out, which is literally there to glue the internet together, to take service 1 and connect it to service 2 in a way that's easy, doesn't require any code on your part, and just makes your tool set work better together. Okay, it opens up tons of possibilities for what you can do, and it pretty much eliminates the problem of does this tool integrate with that tool, because so long as they connect in with these central hubs like Zapier and Integrately, you're good to go. All right. So that is the kind of high level of why we even need this. So what is Integrately itself? It is that glue. It is a tool that has its whole job is to go out and find all the different internet tools out there and make a small little connection and say, okay, what are all the triggers? What are the ifs that can happen? So if I sign up to an email list, if I buy a product, if I submit a help desk, I'll get you some use cases in just a second. If I do any of these things, what action do I want to do in a different tool? All right, we'll cover some use cases in a second, but it is that glue. And its job is to be simple, to be robust, to be reliable, and to be cost effective, because ultimately adding on additional costs just to do what you need to do is frustrating. So they've tried to fix that for you. So I've given you like a very high level overview. Don't worry, we're going to dive into the tool in just a second. But before we do that, I want to give you just some recipes, some ideas of what you can do with Integrately to kind of get your juices flowing. So number one is if you're running ads on Facebook, they have the ability to do lead ads, which increases your conversions, reduces your cost because people don't have to leave the website and do all this stuff. They can just see an ad, put in their email address, and get a free thing. The problem is they don't normally connect with your email marketing platform. Well, now you can. You can submit a lead ad and add them directly into your email marketing system and start an automation just like that. Number two, if somebody makes a purchase in ThriveCart, right now, ThriveCart integrates with a good number of tools and membership platforms, but if it doesn't connect with your membership platform or your email marketing system, you can connect it automatically with Integrately or Zapier. Number three, if somebody signs up for a calendar appointment on your service calendar with Calendly, you can add them to your email list, even if it doesn't directly integrate on its own. Number four, if somebody buys a product, let's say you're running a WooCommerce store, if they buy a product, you can add them into a Facebook custom audience to give a specific advertising message to that person after they buy. If somebody creates an account on WordPress, you can send a message to your team in Slack. Okay, like kind of a different example there, running with a team. Number six, if a lead is captured inside of Thrive Leads or ConvertBox or any other lead generation tool, really, you can do whatever you want. You can add them to an email list or post a message in a Facebook group, even if there's not a direct integration between Thrive Leads and your tool of choice. Number seven, if somebody signs up for like an up viral contest, so it's a giveaway or it's one of those Dropbox, share with your friend and get some extra bonuses, you can do that and then connect it to Integrately and then have them add to any email marketing platform or do anything else you'd like them to do after that, like add them to a MailerLite group. Number eight, if somebody enrolls in a Teachable school or buys a course in Teachable, which is I would say notorious for not having the best integrations out there, you can add them to a Google Sheet. You can add them to an email list. You can send an email, anything you want to do as the output. Number nine, if a record is added to Google Sheet, let's say you're just doing like manual collection of email addresses at a fair or something like that, you can send a Facebook Messenger notification once a record is added, or you can add them to your email list once they're added to a Google Sheet. Tons of possibilities. So number 10, if a support desk ticket is created inside of something like Live Agent or Help Scout, which most growing companies are starting to use these types of softwares, you can integrate that with your email marketing system or even send a text notification to your support team to say, hey, take care of this. So tons of different ideas. We don't use all of these ourselves, but there are obvious uses where it eliminates the need for all these tools to directly integrate with everything else because you can do it all with the glue of Integrately. All right. So now let's talk about Integrately versus Zapier, and we're just going to do a very brief comparison. I would encourage you to test them both out and see. Personally, I have really enjoyed using Integrately post Zapier. Years ago, I used Zapier myself, but our bill got up to like $200 a month on Zapier due to the amount of ads we were running and the amount of transactions we were doing, and it just didn't make sense anymore. So let's do a very, very high level. This is not everything you need to know, but it's enough to get you started. So the biggest question is, how many apps do each of these tools integrate with? And from their website, I was able to count 249 myself. I might be missing some, and they are growing quickly. You can put in a feature request directly on their website to get whatever you want integrated, and it's a very easy job for them to do. So 249 right now, and Zapier, it says over 2,000, but not every integration is created equal. Some don't work as well as others. So as long as it has what you need, it's good to go. Starter price, they both have free tiers, but they're pretty much worthless. Like you can barely do anything on the free tier. So with Integrately, you can get started at $15 per month, and Zapier is $24.99 per month. And for that, what do you get? So with Integrately, you can currently get 14,000 automations, like actual running of your deal. And I think you can do 20 different recipes. So that's plenty for most people. Zapier, you can do only 750 automations. So that's a lot less for a little bit more per month. If you were to break that down to the number of tasks or the number of automations per dollar that you're getting almost 1,000 automations, 1,000 runs of this program for just $1. So 933 automations per dollar is what you're getting with this tier of Integrately. And with Zapier, you're getting a paltry 30 automations per dollar. So worth taking a look at. All right, let's get out of the PowerPoint land and get into Integrately. I'll bounce out of here and pop in and just kind of give you a very brief tour. Let's go to their homepage. And so right now they say 200,000 ready integrations. What that means is like actual things you can do, like how many connections you can make. So if something has 2 different tasks and 2 different outputs, they're going to count that. So here on their homepage, it says you can search from over 200,000 fully ready integrations and activate them in 1 click. Let's put that to the test. Okay, I'll log into my own account. I am a user of this product. And when you get started, I really like their interface. It's very easy to understand. If you know exactly what you want to do, you can just search in. Let's say you want to connect your ConvertBox account. You can type convert, boom. And if you want to type another one, let's say InfluencerSoft, boom, it's right there. And so when you get here, it kind of gives you some ideas of what you might want to be doing. So in this case, if I want to connect my ConvertBox to my InfluencerSoft account, I might want to, when somebody signs up in ConvertBox, create a customer in InfluencerSoft. I might want to, and if they don't have what you want here, you can also come down to make it your own. And so basically when a visitor is added in ConvertBox, what do you want to do? You want to add a lead to a group? Do you want to update a subscriber? Do you want to unsubscribe a contact? Pretty cool ideas. Let's give you another example. So let's go through and let's say, for example, we want to act on that idea we had of somebody submitting a help desk ticket. I can click on Live Agent, and maybe I use MailerLite as my email marketing platform. Boom. It's going to automatically figure out what you might want to do. When a ticket is created, create a subscriber in MailerLite. That's pretty cool, right? So even if people are taking up your time in your inbox, you can at least tag them and understand what's going on with them from your email marketing system. And they also give you some other examples of what you could do in each of these tools. And just one more example just to show you, if you type in Facebook, Facebook is notorious for everybody uses it, but it's really hard to connect it to other things. So here I could say a Facebook lead ad. So when somebody signs up to a lead ad, I can directly connect them to my ConvertKit account as an example here. So I can come down and say, when a lead is created in Facebook lead ads, add subscriber to a form, to a sequence, to a tag, whatever you want to do inside a ConvertKit, boom, and it's done. All right, let's go ahead and build one out on our own. And for this example, just because I have these tools handy, I've been using them a lot recently, I'm going to use ConvertBox. So when somebody signs up for a pop-up, let's say, even if you don't have a direct integration with ConvertBox, you're good to go here. So in this case, I'll use InfluencerSoft, and we're going to create a connection between these directly. All right, so let's go ahead and do that here. When a visitor is added in ConvertBox, I want to add a lead to a specific group in InfluencerSoft. Let's go. Now here you can either make it simple and just, okay, that's all I want to do, that one-to-one, or I can do an automation builder and make it really, really fancy. And I'll show you that here. All right, so it's going to kind of show you what the idea is. This is just a process. It's an automation that's going to run through each step. It's going to have all these different logics and things you can use. But again, it doesn't have to be complicated. We're going to make this one very simple. First thing, we want to create a connection with ConvertBox. And what it does is it gives us a simple URL. I'll show you what to do with that here. A lot of these use webhooks to do their connections, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so I'm inside my ConvertBox account right now, and if you want to see the review for ConvertBox, there's a link down below to that full review I did recently. Really awesome tool. So let's call this Integrately example, and we'll put this underneath our InfluencerSoft group. We'll make this, let's call it, let's make a little just center modal, little pop-up, super simple. And then let's have just a very simple, get an ebook and sign up to get it. All right, cool. So what I want to do here, because I don't have a direct integration between InfluencerSoft and ConvertBox, I can click on the form itself, go to Form Settings, and then underneath Integrations, I can add this integration, and boom, I've got a webhook right here. And so when I click on this, it's going to ask for my URL, and that's exactly what ConvertBox gave me a second ago. So I'll paste it in, I will send a test, and let me come back here and just confirm that it worked. And I'll just say I've sent a test, and I'll test the connection. And here you go. So now it'll show that I have a test webhook that has come in. So all that tells me is it finds it, it's good. Now everything that I set up going forward, it knows the data. It has what it needs from ConvertBox. Let's go ahead and finish designing this real quick here. I'll just say add integration and I'll hit save. And so now what I could do is, what do I want to do with this actual box? So let me actually go back to my form settings and see what my actions are. And I'll just make this very simple. I'll just close the ConvertBox when I'm done with it because I don't really need to show you all that detail stuff. All right, and I'll hit save. I'll hit next. On this, I'm going to trigger this based on a link click. So I'll just say clicking a link on the page, and I'll just copy this little idea here. Hit next, and I'll go ahead and launch this guy and finish it. Okay, so I have my ConvertBox integration set up. Now let me go ahead and integrate this in with InfluencerSoft, the second tool here. So in this case, you simply do an initial setup. You just put in your username and password and you're all good to go. So I'll go ahead and put in my account and then you can connect it however you like. So in this case, I am not getting the name of the person in ConvertBox. I could though. But I didn't, so I won't. So I'm not going to pass the name of the person into InfluencerSoft, but I will pass their email by just collecting email. Okay, so what this is doing is it's showing all the data that was collected on the first step, and I can use that in the second step. So if I ask for the phone number, I can put that in. If I ask for all these details, I can put that in. But then what I want to do here is what list inside of the next tool, in this example, do I want to send them to? And let's go ahead and see if I have an example one I can use. So I have this YouTube live list I was just using for example purposes. So I'll select this list. And what this basically means is as soon as somebody submits that ConvertBox form, they're going to get added to that list. That's all it means, right? It's a direct integration. It's fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and run a test. And it says the test was successful, so I can be confident that it works. We'll do a real test in a second, but everything's looking good on that side. And I can also check conditions. So let's say when somebody signs up, maybe I want to make sure that only if they sign up from a certain country do they move on to the next step. I can do check conditions. I can do if, else, thens, all these different things. So for example, if I only want people who submit from a certain URL, I can say, hey, the referrer needs to be from, starts from a certain URL and only send that data on, or, anything you want. So if you sell many products, you could say only send people who buy this type of product on to the next step, etc. It's a little bit meta, a little bit high level here. So we're going to keep it simple in this review, but just know, even if you have complex needs, these tools make it very simple to work with. All right. So let's go ahead and finish off by creating the page where I'm going to create this little pop-up. I'm going to come back now to Influencersoft and just make a content page. I'll create a little page. And in this case, I'll make a little opt-in page that has a button already created. And when I click this button, I want them to get the pop-up for the sign up. So I'll come to my button settings. And again, every tool you're using is going to be a little bit different how you set this up. This is just what I've chosen to do. I'm going to open a link and I'll put in that code that I got from ConvertBox and hit save. And I'll get out of here and let me just make the URL what I need it to be, just something from that domain. And I'll turn this guy on and save, and I should be ready to rock and roll. All right, so I'm here on the live page, and I have this button. I've changed this button to be a special link from ConvertBox, but again, remember, ConvertBox and Influencersoft don't work directly together. So let me go ahead and turn this thing on, make it live. I'll say test and go live. Boom, and it says my automation's been set up. Fantastic. And you can put these into different categories. I'll call this lead flow because that's kind of what this is. And now let's go ahead and test it. So I'm going to come to my website, just hit refresh just for good measure. And when I click this button, boom, I have my pop-up. Already, like if you guys are familiar with Influencersoft, that's not a functionality that you can do inside the tool. So I'm already showing you how Integrately can up level everything you're working with, because it can get rid of some of the limitations you have on your tools. All right, now I'm going to go and put in a different email address here. All right, so I've created a fake email called testemailforintegrately@gmail.com. So when I click this button, the form goes away because that's what I told it to do in ConvertBox. And when I come back into my dashboard, I should expect to see a new subscriber, a new lead with that exact email address. So I'm going to come here to my leads, and right here it works. So I can see I did not pass the name field, so it puts dear friend, which I think is just adorable. Dear friend as the default name, and the email address is that test email for integrately@gmail.com, and the YouTube live list was set up here. I'll also be able to go into my automations, what I've done, and I can see my history. And I can see this one was run just a second ago, the exact same time frame. I can click into it and I can get the details of what was sent over. I can see the email address and I can see the response received. I can see here what was collected. I can get the email address and where it came from. And I can also see that it was sent. All right, so I know we're going to get out of Geekland, but just so you know, that's how it's set up, right? So we only took a few minutes to set that up while I was talking through every step of the process and building the page and building the form, right? So you can imagine if you have everything already built out and you simply need to get things to talk to each other, it can be super duper quick and easy to use. All right, so let's come back here and let's talk about the benefits of Integrately. Well, I think the first benefit of Integrately versus Zapier is the setup process, in my opinion, is easier in Integrately than it is in Zapier. I've worked with some clients and I've used Zapier for years myself, and I've stopped using it a while back because it just was too frustrating. And it can feel a little bit like you're a semi-developer, like you're trying to get things to work just right. You have to do all these look up IDs of certain things to be able to plug them in. And then if you change anything, God forbid, stuff can go a little wonky. From what I've seen, Integrately works a little bit easier. And honestly, it's a newer tool, so it should have a leg up from user experience than Zapier because it's just newer. It's had more time to kind of see what works and do better. Obviously, the pricing is a huge benefit between Integrately and Zapier. You get way more zaps per dollar. You get 933 zaps per dollar versus 30 zaps per dollar in Zapier. That's a new currency, by the way, zaps per dollar. I'm coining that myself. So if you're on a budget and you're trying to like just scrape by, honestly, and not have to deal with crazy stuff, this grows and scales way cheaper for you over time. And from what I've seen, it's extremely reliable. They have a support team. So when you're here, I've got a little support ticket guy right here, and I actually have some conversations open, just kind of chatting and seeing what's going on with their roadmap, and everything checks my like sniff test, right? This is a newer tool, so there can be some things you'd be worried about. You might be worried about, hey, what if my automation doesn't actually kick off? Like, what if it doesn't work? And if you come here to their pricing page, what happens is they have a feature at the pro level and above called auto replay. And what that does is if something fails for whatever reason, because it might not even be Integrately's fault, but let's say ConvertBox, they have a little blip somewhere, or Influencersoft in that one example has a blip somewhere and it doesn't pass. Well, Integrately will know if it didn't work, and it'll actually do, it'll try again a few times. I don't know the exact details, but it'll try again a few times until it works. So it does as good as you could possibly do because it is simply gluing other tools together, and the internet has outages, like stuff happens. So it does its best to mitigate that. And when you get to the pro level and above, you've got 2-minute update times. So most things are instant, and they'll show you when you're setting one up if it's instant or if it's going to take some time. So for example, if I go here to ConvertKit, and so in this case, I can look over here and I'm trying to connect Calendly to MailerLite, add that integration in, and you can see these are instant. So as soon as this happens, the automation kicks off. So that is extremely good. Obviously, you want your business to run quickly and efficiently, so it can do all that. So let's talk about the cons as well, and there are some. So the biggest con that you can probably guess right here is the number of app integrations. So not all integrations are created equal. Even if they have an integration for something, it might not have all the triggers and tasks. So let me show you an example of that from my own personal experience. So we use Teachable on our main business for our courses. And if I were to come in here and let's go to Teachable. Now, let's say I want to have something crazy, and this should be possible, but let's say it's crazy. Let's say I want to set one up where when somebody is joined into a group, let's see here, subscribers created with a certain group in MailerLite. Now I want to create a user in Teachable and add them to a course. Like, that's a pretty niche-y use case, but it's possible. They don't have that. Okay, so they just don't have the support for something like that. It's a little bit more limited. So for example, let's say if somebody buys something in Teachable, you can create a subscriber in MailerLite, but I think Zapier has a bit more robust options. And because this team is new, like if you have a specific use case, you can always come into the support chat and ask them for a specific use case or a specific API. And the team is pretty agile. They've been doing a very good job from my perspective. The other downside, the other con of Integrately, and it's not a knock on Integrately, it's a knock on the overall category of these glue type programs like Zapier and Integrately, and there's a few others out there as well. And the downside is it just does add one more step. Compared to, let's say, for example, you use something that has a direct integration, like MailerLite directly integrates with WooCommerce. In that case, if somebody buys a product in WooCommerce, you can go directly to MailerLite and set up your automation, do whatever tasks you need to do directly in the platforms without any need for a third-party platform, without any need for a third-party subscription and additional fee. And so obviously, when you can do a direct integration and it does what you need it to do, that is the preferred option. But in 2021, guess what? There's going to be no limit of how many new softwares are going to come in, how many new things, like new ideas you're going to want to have to test out and try to see if it increases the profitability of your business. So I think that having a tool like this is an awesome little security blanket, because what that basically means is if you're browsing on AppSumo, or if you're looking at a new tool, or if you hear of a new strategy that you want to try to implement, you have like 99% confidence that you can implement it no matter what other tools you're using. Because if there's not a direct integration, which that's really hard for people to do that, you're covered here because you have a tool in your back pocket that can make all those connections for you. All right, so let's talk about my final thoughts. Overall, I think that if you're serious about starting a business and running it like a business, having a tool like Zapier or Integrately is going to take away any of the confusion you might be. In most cases, people get like pigeonholed into, you have to use this tool All right, if you've selected this tool, now it only integrates with these 3 tools. Now you have to use one of these. If you want to use a different one for whatever reason, you can't because you've already selected down. And for example, Teachable has direct integrations with ConvertKit and MailChimp, and I think that's it. So if you want to use a different email system, you're already in the Zapier land, the Integrately land, and things like that. WordPress and WooCommerce, similar deal. It can't integrate with everything. So if you want to be able to have the flexibility and not feel like you are constricted in what you use and how you use it, a tool like Integrately or Zapier is necessary. And if you agree that, hey, I should have this type of tool, I think you can get way more bang for your buck with Integrately. And if you want to get additional tasks when you get signed up, go ahead and use my affiliate link or my referral link. It's incomemesh.com/integrately. The links are all down below in the comments. And that's it for me. I really appreciate you. Thank you for checking in through this review. Let me know in the comments down below if you think Integrately is a useful tool. If you're already using Zapier, what's your experience like? I'd love to hear. And if you're curious how you can actually use this in a better way, let me know what your tools are, like what your questions are, and I'll be happy to do a video just for you. All right, take care. Did you realize every time you hit like on one of my videos down below, it increases your conversion rates by 1%? Don't ask me how, it's science. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button over there, check out more of my videos up here, and down here, grab the freebie that's made just for you. Thanks so much, I'll see you in the next video.